You know, my opponent here is Rizzhan. What we're wagering for is
Yeah,
I
also we
wager
can
my
have
seat.
moderation.
I'm not agreeing to moderation. I do not agree. But listen.
Okay, then
So
don't put me there.
who the fuck are you? I don't have to listen to whatever the fuck you say, but listen, right? So the wager
I'm him.
is that if I lose, I have to give up my seat. All right. Anyways, this retard keeps talking. So if Rizzhan loses here, he has. Excuse me. He has to not only rep me,
Can you
but
stop
also
saying
rep
you
me,
know? Because I already
above
know.
or
You keep saying you know, but I
wait,
already know. So
above, or next to Shimmer.
above,
All right, and that's the
above,
wager.
above, above.
You keep trying to do this rhetorical shit, but you can't match me rhetorically, and everybody agrees you can't match me rhetorically.
Look,
Stop
bro,
it.
I'm not even trying to be rhetorical. I'm just doing what y'all do.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
just
You want
making
to
you
be
look
me
at a
so bad,
mirror,
you're a
bro.
fan.
I'm just making you look
No,
at
you're a
yourself in the
fan.
mirror, bro. Like, this is who
You
you are.
you
This is who
you
you are,
are
bro.
a fan.
This is
Chico,
the
shut
debate.
up.
This is the debate.
Bro.
Yeah,
This
prove
is
that
the
persons
debate.
Bro.
exist. Where,
Dude, we haven't
where
even
you
gotten into the debate because
yeah,
this guy's
Penny,
being
prove that persons
pedantic,
exist.
bro.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyways, okay, if
Penny,
y'all not
prove
gonna
that
debate,
persons
anyways,
exist.
yeah, Rizzhan.
Bro, Ryan!
Penny, prove that persons
Come
exist.
We're not
on.
even debating.
Bro, we're about to
Yes, we
debate and then you
are.
like started
Penny,
yelling.
prove that persons exist. Prove that persons exist.
But, wait, hold on. First of all, wait, can I give my introduction first?
Give your introduction,
Bro, Ryan,
then.
bro.
You're lying.
Yeah. Nigga, put a shirt on, bro. You did.
No, nigga.
All right, chill out, big dog. Chill out, big dog, bro. All right, now listen. I just want to give an introduction to the entire trans topic, right? I think that when you say that a trans woman is a woman, or at least when a trans woman says that they're a woman, but they're referring to is just that the semantic usage of the term woman and what they mean there. It's about very different things, but I think the main meaning of what they mean, when they say that they're trans women, I think they're talking about the social definition about it, and it's just referring to the characteristics of femininity. I think it's a core understanding of it. You can go through multiple different ways about explaining how you use the term. It's like you can talk about and you can talk about the way that most people use it. Most trans women use it is just that someone who identifies as such, or you can say that someone whose preferable experiences are maximized by associating with feminine social archetype. You can even say that you can easily use mention distinction. And yeah, that's just I think that what they're just talking about is just like the semantic things. I don't even think it's referring to any sort of like metaphysical thing. I don't think it's referring to any sort of a person thing. I think it's just like a semantic thing. It's just a term that's being used that they're, establishing to themselves. I think you can be a limitivist about, personal identity and still prescribe to the view that it can still prescribe to the view that trans women are women, because all it's just being said here is just that there's some term that's being used as a referent, right? And limitivist, presumably what they say is that personal identity is just some fictitious sense, right? It doesn't actually exist, right? And you can still apply that same label to a character that does not actually exist when we're referring to. I think in the same sense as how you can say Spider-Man is a superhero, right? Like Spider-Man does not exist, obviously, right? And some fictitious thing, right? You can still prescribe that he is a superhero, though, to something which is fictitious, right? Because given that it's a name, it's still a name thing. I think it's the same thing happening with a trans woman. They're still prescribing the same exact thing.
Yeah, if you don't, a lot of the things you said aren't actually relevant because, look, it seems that you've conflated and you've misinterpreted a lot of the views or a lot of what people actually say when they talk about
This is so boring and ass.
lesbianism or anti-realism about personal identity. So, talking about deflationism and anti-realism about personal identity, they're not simply just saying that, look, there are no metaphysical persons, there are no persons in reality. They'd also be making a claim that whenever we make an identity claim between two persons, that identity claim is meaningless. So when we say that, for example, a trans person is a trans person, or when we say that a trans person is a person, or a trans woman, that claim is meaningless. Because the is there isn't doesn't mean anything. The is there isn't conveying any real meaning. any real semantic meaning. It doesn't seem to actually be telling us anything about the world. It doesn't seem to be a descriptive statement. It doesn't seem to be a normative statement. It just seems to be an empty statement. And so people who claim to be anti-realist about or deflationist about personal identity are not just saying that persons don't exist, but they're saying that when we make identity claim between two persons, or when we make identity between two things that we love as persons, it just doesn't make any sense. And so even if I accept what you're saying and I say that, okay, you can about personal identity, it wouldn't mean that you'd be committed to saying that statements about personal identity or statements that claim that there is personal identity are meaningful. And so the statement that you make when you say that trans women are women is just a meaningless statement. It doesn't seem to convey any real propositional meaning. And if you're not conveying any real meaning, then it will obviously just seem that your position, because your position doesn't mean anything. And so, number one, I'll just ask you to prove that, look, personal identity is a real thing. Because again, under my view, under the deflationist view I'm holding, it's not just entailing that person don't exist, rather it's just entailing that personal identity claims are meaningless. And so I just want you to go ahead and prove that anti-realism about personal identity.
So just to be clear here, so what you did was you just basically didn't understand my point. I think that's very, apparent here that you just didn't understand what I was saying. The point that I made was just that we were saying that, the person here is just some fictitious sense, and when you're saying that, okay, well, the person here doesn't literally mean anything, I take it that if something's referring to it in a fictitious sense, I also think that it doesn't mean anything. That's also something that we can be used in conjunction with it. But I also think that we're using it, we can be. My entire point was just saying that eliminativists also use it, and it's wait. I'm getting to it, retards. I'm fucking trying to overtalk.
I said repeat what you're saying.
The point here was, I get what you said. I get what you said. Now let me get to the repeating part. So, listen, what I said was just that. So what I was saying was, eliminativists also say that it's in a fictitious sense. Okay, right. So I'm gonna just internally. If you don't get my point from now on, I'm just not gonna repeat it anymore for you. So. Listen, right? So the point is that I said eliminativists also say that it's fictitious, it's a fiction, right? Like this is what this is what Parfit says. I think people do say that this is just used in a fictitious sense. This doesn't mean anything, right? And my point was that you can still say that a trans woman is woman, and what you're indexing it to, the person thing, it's still being meaningless because there's no such thing as a person, right? This person thing doesn't exist, right? You can still say that a person doesn't exist while also saying that, well, a trans woman is a woman, and I think it still follows there, but I'm not really seeing any reason for why you should disagree with this, right? Like you try to put a burden on me, and I'm not sure what this burden is supposed to be doing in the first place, because you asked me, well, what is the argument for why personal identity exists, right? But okay, I don't believe personal identity exists, right? But I can still maintain the same exact view, right? Because
nice.
It's just a usage of a term. In the same sense, I think even if person doesn't exist, even if there's no personhood at all, there's no person at all, there's still something that conveys some term. There's still something that says terms. There's something that still explains things. In the same sense that even if you don't agree that you exist, or you don't agree that persons exist, there's still something that exists, which is a replayment of these set events. And I think that when we're using the term, that's what we're doing. When we're playing the term usage and stuff like that. It doesn't have to talk about specifically just a person or something like that. It doesn't even have to talk about the person. It's just invokement of terms and words. That's all I'm trying to say this entire time. So if you want to just reply to that, then you can go ahead and do that. But listen.
Yeah, look. So Penny, it just seems that you hop, skipped, and jumped around the actual substance of what I was saying. It seems you did a triple jump about what I was actually saying. So what you said is that you can still say that you don't have to actually commit yourself to a realism about these categories. You can still say these categories are fictitious or fictional, but you can still make a meaningful identity claim between trans women and women. Look, that's what's in question. And I'm not just saying that they're fictional, rather I'm saying that personal identity is such a thing that it doesn't exist, meaning that when you make personal identity claims, between two things or two or more things, it's meaningless. It lacks any real semantic meaning. Because to make a claim that something is fictional or a word is fictional, a word is referring to a fictional thing, is different from saying that a word does not have any meaning. And so, for example, let's say that I say, I don't know, let's say that I'm talking about Santa. I say that, oh, Santa is fictional, but Santa might still convey some real semantic meaning. I might still get an idea of what Santa actually is or could be in my head. Now, the claim that people make when they say that personal identity is a non-existent thing is not just that the object they're talking about is non-existent, because non-existent objects or non-existent words can still have semantic meanings or can still have actual meaning that we can attach to them. Rather, they're saying that both the object is absent from reality and any real meaningful content that we can attach, any real meaningful ontological or metaphysical content that we can attach to the object is also absent from reality. And so, again, if you concede or if you accept that personal identity doesn't exist, then that would also mean that personal identity claims are meaningless. Not just that not just that persons don't exist, but when you make identity claims between two of these supposed persons, there's absent from reality. There's no meaning that we can attach to them. And so, again, you hop, skipped, and jumped around the actual point. And it's actually crazy because you just repeated what you said in the original introduction. Now, you also said something about me shifting the burden. It's not me shifting the burden if your whole claim
I didn't even say anything
is
about you shifting
supposing.
the fucking burden, bro. Stop being disingenuous as
Let me
fuck.
finish.
I never said you switched the
finish.
burden. What the
Let me
fuck are you
finish.
Oh
talking
shit, he's
about?
crashing
Let
out.
me finish.
No, because this thing is like
Again,
deadass just been yambling about shit that I didn't like fucking say in the first place. Like, can you actually like attack the point that I actually gave you? Can you not stop saying like I said the same fucking thing? No, because I'm not gonna let you keep fucking finish if you're just gonna keep strawmanning everything I fucking say. Can you actually attack the point?
Nobody strawmanned what you said.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You said I said the same exact thing I said in the introduction. Can you repeat the same back thing that I said in my original response and the introduction? Go ahead.
I don't need to repeat
back
it. Just
what I
let me
said
say
in the
what I
introduction.
wanted to say.
Okay, so listen, if you can't repeat it, then I'm just going to assume that you don't even actually have a reason for why you're saying anything that you're saying right now. It seems like, when you're saying that I said the same thing in the introduction and the response, then,
Wait, Penny, we can just conclude.
Yeah. Wait, no, I'm not gonna conclude right here. What the fuck?
But we can conclude.
I'm gonna like wait until you attack my point. If you still don't attack my point, like after 45 minutes, then we can conclude there. Like, no, but you're just not getting anything I'm fucking saying, bro.
What?
You already blundered.
You just said I repeated the same thing back. So repeat what I said in the introduction and repeat what I said in the response. Go ahead, Rizzhan.
Okay, so just to appease you, like just to appeal to like whatever you motive you have,
bro. Stop the shit.
I'll just repeat.
Respond.
I'll just wait.
Yeah, I know.
You want me to do something, but now you're
Just respond.
No, in
Just
fact, Penny, we can just
respond.
conclude. Penny, we can just
No,
conclude because you're interrupting
I just said I'm not concluding.
You're
I'm just I'm not concluding.
interrupting me.
I do not
You're
give
interrupting me.
I do not give
All
a
right, guys,
fuck response.
I'm gonna moderate.
We can just conclude.
I disagree to
I
moderation.
have
I already
a
disagree to
question.
moderation. I already disagreed to moderation, bro.
Whenever I can't moderate. Sorry, guys. You guys.
I have a question. One question.
Repeat back what I said, Rizzhan. Go ahead. I'm not gonna interrupt you at all. Just repeat back what I said in the introduction, the response. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so just to appease this guy or to appeal to whatever motive he has. Look, what he said in the introduction was basically that he believes that trans women are the same thing, or there's an identity relation between trans women and women. And he also added to that fact, and also this is a very condensed version, he also added to that fact that it doesn't matter if you're an anti-realist about persons, because even if you believe that these categories are fictitious and not real, you can still make meaningful identity claims between them, so the statement can still be true. Now, what's in question is whether anti-realism about personal identity or anti-realism about persons actually makes a claim that you can still make meaningful identity relations between persons. Because obviously, if you're an anti-realist about personal identity, that's not the case. Because anti-realists about personal identity simply just say that any statement which tries to say that X is the same person as Y person is false. Not just that those persons don't exist, but statements like that are false. And so if Penny concedes personal anti-realism, or he concedes anti-realism about personal identity, then he'd also be conceding that any statement that says trans women are women or trans people are people is false. And so he's conceded that his position is false by agreeing to what I just said. So we can conclude.
Oh my god, so you failed to fucking repeat literally what I said in the introduction and the fucking response. Like, this is like genuinely just fucking retarded. Like, you weren't fucking listening. You were just sitting on your ass doing fucking nothing. Wait, you've been being rhetorical the entire time. Stupid fuck. Now just shut up. Holy shit. You keep fucking talking. You're not adding anything. You already mistracked both of the things I said. But no, I'm not going to stop cursing because you keep being disingenuous. I hate disingenuous retards. That has nothing to fucking do. Like, with, like, literally, I said in the introduction, right, all I said was just that I think that, you know, when we're talking about trans women being women, I think it's a semantic usage. I literally disagreed that there's any sort of, you know, person or like identity relationship between the two. I already disagreed with that. I never said that there was an identity relationship between the two. I said I disagreed with any metaphysical commitments. That's literally what I disagreed with. And then you said that I said I agreed with it. What are you talking about? No, I did not say what I just said.
Wait, just Penny, just answer this quick question for clarification. Do you think that when I say that a trans woman is a woman, do you think that statement is false?
Okay, so what's the reason why I have to answer this question? What's the relevancy of this question?
The reason why I want you to answer this question is because if you answer yes to the question, then you'd obviously concede. But if you answer no to the question, that would simply just mean that it doesn't matter if you're simply just using it for semantic usage. Because semantic statements that try to convey semantic
you can say the statement is false. You can give the statement is false, giving it equivocating or using different terms. That's what's a semantic usage. What are you talking about?
Oh my god. The statement can still be true or false. Okay, you don't understand. Okay, you don't understand. People that claim to be anti-realist about personal identity, again, are not just making a metaphysical claim, but they're also making a semantic claim, such that any statement which tries to put two persons in an identity relation and say those two persons are identical is false. And so when you try and say that two persons are a trans woman and a woman is identical to a person, are identical to each other, you're not simply just making a metaphysical claim, but you're also making a semantic claim by saying that the statement is false. And so if you concede that personal identity does not exist, you also concede the statement is false.
Sorry, Rizzhan, can you repeat what I said? I just responded to this.
Repeat what you said at what instance?
The response to what you just said? Hello? Can you repeat the response?
Wait,
you just said.
So you just said. Wait. Are you gonna let me actually do what you asked me to do? Are you gonna keep interrupting me anytime you actually ask me to do?
So are you gonna keep doing this pedantic shit where you're just gonna keep trying to?
I just told you that I'm going to
shit, and then go ahead and stop doing this stupid shit. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Just do it already, right? So I'm sitting here waiting. Okay. I'm gonna go back on mute, and if you do this rhetorical shit, I'm gonna cut you off again.
Okay. Yes. I don't care if you're gonna cut me off because it's gonna make you look stupid.
Okay. Get to the point.
Yeah. So I asked you the question. Now you said, why is this question relevant? Or why do you need to answer the question? Then I basically explained why you need to answer the question. Then you said, no, because you said again, no, the question isn't relevant because I'm not making a metaphysical claim about these persons. I just told you the metaphysical claim about the person doesn't matter. As long as you're saying that statement is true.
You fucking idiot. No, I asked what was the response, not the fucking question. What are you talking about?
Okay, my God. You asked me to repeat what you said.
Repeat my response. That's what I said.
Yeah,
repeat my response.
What you said in response to the question.
No, you repeated my question before the response. What are you talking about?
Oh my God. You do understand that I was literally talking about how you saying they're not making a metaphysical claim ties back into your point that it doesn't matter if they're saying it doesn't matter if personal identity doesn't exist as long as they're not making a metaphysical claim. My theory still stands and my hypothesis still stands. That was what your response was.
Oh my God!
But you haven't even made a new point.
My response. I literally did. I literally made an entirely new response to what you just said, right? And what you were asking me for was just the entire semantic usage thing. And you're asking me if I say yes, well the statement is false, and this doesn't obviously entail like a semantic usage thing. And I said that when you say that trans women are women, if this is true or if this is false, right? Well, it depends on the semantic usage in the first place. What I mean is like you defend the term. If you think that woman just means an adult human female, right? And then you ask, well, are trans women women? Well, then, the answer would be no. The trans women wouldn't be women. In the same sense as if you think woman just means a person whose preferable experiences are maximized by associating with the feminine social archetype. If you think this is yes,
is whether persons
then
exist.
yes.
We're
I
literally
just
talking about
explained.
whether
I literally just explained to you how you can say personal identity does not exist and still follow the same fucking conclusion that trans women are women.
Again,
What the fuck?
the view. Okay, the view that's being exemplified, or the view that's being talked about here, is not just again claiming that persons don't exist. Rather, it's saying that statements which try to put persons in identity relations, try to say that X person is identical to Y person, are meaningless, don't convey any real meaning, and are just false. They're false. That's the view of anti-realism about personal identity.
They're meaning. Okay, so the view says they're meaningless and they're false. So any sort of identity relationship that you try to put them to say that X is Y means that they're false, right? So. Okay, great. So you think that associating any sort of label to anything? So if you were to call someone a king at all, that statement would be false because personal identity just doesn't exist.
Wait, can you repeat what you said? Wait,
yeah. So do you think that associating a label? Do you think that associating a label to any sort of X entity, that would be false because personal identity is meaningless and it is false
not
for any
entity.
sort of statement?
That you claim to be a person.
Okay,
you can still say that.
Okay. So, true of persons. Okay, so can you give me where I stated that it was true of persons? Being clear.
You literally just said that it's true of these two persons. These two persons that trans women is identical to him. That's a fact true of the person. That's a fact true of the person.
Okay. So I said two. Okay, so wait, being clear. In the rec, by the way, I said two persons, or the trans woman being woman thing is identical to two persons.
No. You said that. Okay. What I think you're saying. Okay. What I suppose you're saying here is just that even if you're making a claim about one person or two persons, you're just saying that trans women are women, and given the definition of women you gave, a woman would be a person. Meaning you're simply just saying that trans person.
So you think someone is a person?
Wait, Penny, let me finish. Meaning you're simply just saying that this trans person who prefers to be a woman is identical to a person who prefers to be a woman. But what's in question here is whether that statement is actually meaningful.
What?
And wait. And so what the contention here is not if you can predicate true statements off of entities, but it's whether you can predicate true statements off of persons. Given anti-realism about personal identity, given anti-realism about personal identity, whenever you make a claim about a person, you're not actually making a true claim about a person, since you can't predicate statements of persons. Whether what you're actually saying is true of this entity, but there's no actual person in that sentence, or there's actually no person in reality.
Jesus Christ, bro. Bro, praise the Lord, bro. Today is the day I become a fucking Christian, bro. Oh my God.
Oh God, just come through.
Penny, you literally said that a woman is a person who prefers to be a woman. Like what?
I said someone whose preferable experiences are maximized by associating with.
Wait, no, you said think person, and someone still refers. You do understand someone still is a personal pronoun.
No, when I say someone, I'm talking about
someone is a personal pronoun.
When I say someone, I'm talking about a very specific entity. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about person.
Wait. So give a full definition of what you think someone means. What do you think the pronoun someone
when you say someone, someone could be used in multiple different ways, but someone could also just be to refer to an entity, and that's what I'm using here when I say that you can still be limitivist about personal identity. Wait. So I'm just gonna overtalk you again, right? So when you say that someone whose preferable experiences are maximized by associating with the feminine social archetype, and also say that this follows under the eliminativist definition or the eliminativist view that personal identity does not exist, right? We can just use someone to refer to an entity because even you agree that when we're referring to persons is different from referring to entities, right? I assume you agree with that. Like when you say someone, when you say a person, you're referring to something different than a entity, right? Or at least most of the time, you're referring to a different thing, right?
Well, no, not okay. We're not talking about how I'm trying to use the word someone. What
Oh
we're
my
trying
God,
to
just answer my question. Just answer my question.
wait. Let me finish. We're not talking about how I'm trying to use the word someone. We're talking about how you're trying to use the word someone. Now, under your
Oh my God,
definition,
just
okay, so
answer
number
my question,
wait. You've
bro.
already committed. No. We're look. Even if like this point goes over our heads and like I don't know, like you somehow like win this point, it doesn't matter because early in the recording. And when Repellent goes through the recording, he can watch this. You said that a woman is a person who prefers to be a woman, or a trans woman is a person who prefers to be a
So
woman.
if I
Now
did
that
say that,
implies
here's the clarification. Holy shit.
wait. Now that implies that you're making a claim true of persons, and also when you say that trans women are women, you're also making a personal identity claim because you're saying that X person is identical to Y person. And so if you're saying that X
Oh
person
my
is
God.
identical to Y person, are they simply just the same thing? Simply just the
Wait,
same
so do
thing.
you think me saying a person whose preferable experiences are maximized by associating with feminine sort of archetype, that means I'm saying X person is identical to Y person? What?
Nobody, nobody can hear what you're saying.
Great. So, can you hear me now? Hello?
I said, yeah, you can repeat what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm asking you, what the fuck is going on? All right, bro. Stick a rotten, bro.
Yeah, I said you can repeat what you're saying.
Okay, yeah, listen, right? So when I say a person whose preferable experiences are maximized by associating with feminine social archetype, because apparently this is what I said, and if this is what I said, then I already clarified what I meant, right? So do you think do you think me saying that means I'm saying, X person is identical to Y person? Because if so, then what's the Y person there?
No. Oh my God. I'm talking about the claim that you made between trans women and women. What type of claim do you think that is?
Okay, so you're just talking about trans women being women.
Yes, when you say that
The
trans
claim
women
there
are
is
women,
just
when you say that trans
yeah. I'm
women are
referring
women,
to
what do you mean there?
I'm referring to the two trans being the same way, and I'm saying that one trans woman is just the entity part that we're talking about, and woman just
Wait, so are they
refers
identical?
to the same thing there. Identical to each other in the same sense? No, they're not like they're not like one-to-one identical with each other. No.
I'm
But
not
like
talking.
both
Okay.
two of those definitions are saying different things. And if you mean by
Wait,
identical
oh my
as in
God.
saying
I'm not.
that they
Oh my
both
God.
are the same, as in one is the other thing, then yes, one is the other thing. A trans woman is a woman, given the relevant context. Yes, if that's what you mean by identical, then yes, they are. And that's trivial because every person would say that.
Wait. So let me just get a grasp of this. So when you're talking about is there, you're not using an is of identity, rather you're using an is of predication. And even if you're using an is of predication, this point still doesn't matter because you still would have conceded. It would even make it worse for you. So go ahead.
Bro, what are you talking about? What would I have conceded?
You didn't answer the question.
What question did I not answer?
When you say is, are you using an is of predication or an is of identity?
They don't know what that means.
Okay, by it is a predication, you mean what exactly? Because,
So when you
depending on
try
that,
to
then I've already answered it.
predicate something off of another thing. So for example,
Okay,
when I
well,
say the
that just
ball
kicks
is
the
red,
cans down the road. If
that's an
someone
is
doesn't
of
know what
predication.
predication is, if someone doesn't know what a predicate is, then how do you explain to them what a predicate is?
I thought you asked me to I thought you asked me to define what predication is, but if you don't know what predicate is, then I'm seriously
If
worried for you.
predication is
A predicate I'll
if
just say a
predication.
predicate. A predicate is something that you can attribute to a substance, or a predicate is something that you can attribute to something.
Great, yeah, great. But I'm saying that the if you're just using predication isn't just a predicate that attaches on to something else, but that's just weird. But that's what I was just saying, that your definition is a bit weird. Like if someone
Yeah.
doesn't know,
So look,
what predication
even
is, then it's just for.
look,
But listen. If I'm using it whether or not for a predication or as in referring to someone as in a person, well, I'm using it for predication, right? To attach the two together, right? Like a trans woman is a woman. Not saying
okay.
that a
So you're not
person is
making a
a.
claim that they're
So
identical.
I'm not saying that a person is a person, though.
Wait, so you don't believe that persons? Okay. Oh my God. So let me just get this straight. Do you believe that persons are identical to persons?
No, bro. I deny the law of identity, buddy.
Are you being sarcastic, or like are you actually being for real?
Yeah, bro, I deny the law of identity.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take what you said as being sarcastic. Look, so even if, and we can go about where we can go on to the point about where we can go up to the point about you still conceded, because the whole point here is not that you're simply just saying that X is identical to Y, or you're saying that trans person is identical to Y person. But the whole point is that when you try and say that there are positive predicates that are true of these things, right? So when you say that it's a positive predicate of a trans person, so it's a real property of a trans person that it's a person, or it's a real property of a trans woman that it's a woman. That statement is still under my view of
It
personal
is a
identity
real
is
property of the person.
that statement no. Yeah, I'll let you finish, bro. So that statement under my view of personal identity is still a meaningless statement, because I just told you that there is no because to say that a positive predicate is true of a person is to simply just say that the person is an actual meaningful subject here. It expresses a meaningful subject. But again, under my view of personal identity, those subjects don't exist. And therefore, when you make claims that, when you try and give a positive predicate to a person, you're not making any meaningful statement. And so the statement just falls into semantic nothingness.
Who gives a damn? Who gives a fucking damn? Just debate his ass. Both interlocutors are fucking ass, bro. Only people like me and Repellin are able to handle the conceptual parity.
No,
So back
shut
to
the fuck
Penny.
up,
What were you
bro.
saying?
Anyways, bro, like I'm gonna keep it a beam with you, bro. I did not listen to anything you said besides the entire semantic nothingness. It reduces down into semantic nothingness because the terms don't refer to literally anything. I'm assuming that's what you said, right?
Wait, can you repeat what you said? I was looking at you.
I said that I haven't listened to anything you said besides the point where you were saying that the semantic nothingness, and it reduces down to semantic nothingness because the terms don't refer to anything, right? That's what you said?
Okay, yes. Okay, so what I'm basically saying is that, look, the statement still would be meaningless because it's not referring, because person isn't actually referring to
Listen
anything
here,
meaningful.
I'll just repeat this point back because this is in the rec, by the way, but this was never responded to. But maybe actually, you know what, should I be
Person
ignorant and
doesn't
not
mean
give you it?
anything. If person doesn't mean anything, the statement is meaningless. Like what? I think that's just I think that's trivially true.
Wait. Okay, so you said if person doesn't mean anything, then the statement is meaningless, right?
Okay,
Okay,
yes.
so in the same sense as if I have a term that's not referring to any person, right, it's going to be meaningless under the term person, right? Because person also doesn't mean anything, and also the thing that we're talking about isn't referring to persons. It's also going to be meaningless, right?
Wait, repeat what you said.
So if I have a term that's talking about something that is not indexed to person, and person also doesn't mean anything, it's not going to mean anything altogether, right? Because the term isn't even talking about persons, right?
I still don't understand what you're saying. If you're asking me, look,
Yeah.
I don't know
Just
why you're
tell me what
laughing,
you
but you
think.
can just repeat what you said again.
Oh
Look, I
no,
literally don't understand what you're saying.
because my friend DM'd me something funny.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, just repeat what
In
you're gonna
fact,
say,
just
bro.
write down what you said. Just write what you said down, because I'm trying to look at the chat as well. So just write what you said down.
Or are you multitasking, bro? Come on, Eric. So what I said was, here, let me just put it in one word. So
Good. Also, like back to what I'm not trying to like sidetrack you, but back to what you said earlier. You said that you denied law of identity, but it just like came to me that it seems like you can deny the law of identity and still a person.
sorry about that. That's what you're talking about, bro.
Bro, how have I only got 2 swords, bro? How have I only got 2 fucking swords? Let's go.
Here, bro.
Stop it up, man.
Sab up C,
Fuck,
bro.
bitch.
Sab up C, bro. Sab up C.
I'm saying, what the fuck is this?
Come on, bro. Free C, bro. Free C. Even though that nigga be dissing me on the low, look it. Fuck that
That's
nigga C,
all
bro.
Yanni and Archie. Archie was dissing me low key.
Oh, nah, Archie. Come on, bro. Come on, Archie, bro. What are we doing?
What?
They said you've been dissing me on the low and shit, bro.
This guy's a fucking liar, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, I got distracted to him. Knowing about the person.
Cheeky, are you fucking retarded, bro? You ran off with what I said and said that he won.
Yeah.
This is the British syndicate.
Look,
I see your clip video.
yeah. So back to what I was saying. It doesn't seem like denying the law of identity would actually be motivation to deny that person's identity.
Yeah, because that establishes P equals P, buddy. I disagree that P equals P. The fuck are you talking about?
No, that's not true. You can say that, okay, you can deny the law of identity in some cases and still hold to other cases where it's true. So you can say that dog equals dog. I still deny the law of identity.
Yeah, I get it. But that also could be true that I deny it in this case, right? Because I deny the law of identity, so.
Wait, yeah, okay. But no.
Person doesn't.
That doesn't matter because the motivation you gave the person is not equal in person. You said the reason why I deny this is because I deny the law of identity, but that's not motivation.
Yes, it is, bro. If I deny P equals P, in an instance where P is equal to P, that gives me motivation to deny P equals P. Hello.
For example,
you don't.
You can say that. Buddy. Wait, penny. You can say that.
Hi.
The person not being identical to a person is motivation to deny the law of identity, but it's not the same thing as denying the law of identity to be motivation to give that person
an identity. Are you gonna keep being a jerk, bro? You're gonna keep being a jerk.
Say your response to what?
I just said hi, buddy. How are you doing?
In chat. Just bring up the thing you typed in chat.
Hey.
I just said, hey, how are you doing, Rizzhan, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Wait, where's the thing that you typed in?
Oh no, I'm typing it right now. I'm getting distracted, bro. I'm trying to talk about a person, and person doesn't mean anything. Then the entire sentence is meaningless, especially because the term isn't talking about persons. Here you go, buddy. Oh, it's
Lucy, why do you think I was reading chat?
I have like three. I have 5 pings in general, and I have not checked general at all, dude. Should I check general?
Oh no, it's just a bunch of British people and children. You're good.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Copy and paste it to general.
Bro, stop yelling at me. Stop.
Hey, shut the fuck up, man.
Somebody
Is just a bunch of niggas? Is it just someone saying that?
Wait, Repellent, can you copy and paste it to general chat?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
Well, is it just niggas saying that I'm like losing or some shit, bro?
Yeah, because you are losing, bro.
Repellent.
Term that isn't talking about person doesn't mean anything. The entire sentence is meaningless because the term isn't talking about person. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that if you have a subject to the sentence, so obviously you're aware of subject-predicate relation. If you have a subject sentence position, the subject doesn't actually have a meaning, then it would seem to me.
I see why I did not check general
It's
for
like
like
me
a
saying
fucking
that.
couple of minutes,
It's
bro.
like me
Just a
saying
bunch
that.
of niggas
It's
just
like
dick riding.
that, for example, it's like me saying that this is black. Well, if doesn't mean anything, then the sentence just doesn't mean it. It doesn't seem that the sentence is actually saying anything meaningful. It doesn't seem it's actually conveying any meaning.
Okay, then what do you think about the use mentioned distinction, buddy? Bro, like if I say,
What
you know, do you even know what the use mentioned distinction is?
I can't hear what you're saying. Maybe it's like the pronunciation.
Do you know what the use mentioned distinction is?
I still can't hear what you're saying. Like if it's like me, I'm not sure. You can just type out.
Fuck, bro.
Niggers in the building. You niggas are ass, bro. I'm just gonna step.
Bro, see, shut up, nigga. Why are you on dick, bro?
No,
Why are you
but
still
you guys are
talking?
fucking ass, bro. Like, what the fuck is debate, bro?
You lost to Rizzhan, bro. What are you talking about?
Alright, cool.
Okay then, nigga, you ass. You're ass too, nigga. What the fuck? You're ass with us.
Alright, I'm just see your ass back.
Nigga lost to Rizzhan, bro. I'm crying, bro.
Well, look, I don't
How you see
understand
that?
how the LOI point is relevant because you can agree that LOI is false, agree also their identity relations. It's just not universal. Like, not everything's identity
Exactly.
to itself. But, like, some
Yeah,
Hey,
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
buddy. Hey, take a hint. See,
Wait,
take
Penny,
a
do you
hint. I thought
just
you
want to
would be able
conclude?
to take a
You're
hint.
gonna have.
I mean,
hey,
body class
Just want to
identity is also
hey,
kind of down.
C, are you black, C?
Yeah, I'm black as well, but like you can also hold like
Oh, what's up, my
person, like,
nigga?
yo, what's up, bro? Like you can also hold, you can also hold like you can also you have like
Yeah.
persons
If
like
Penny
fixed
can make
No,
this
size,
but
clear, because
listen
actors and
here.
consciousness. Like under that, I feel like
I'll
it's
only.
that person exists.
I'll only conclude if Rizzhan or not Rizzhan, my bad. I only conclude if Repellent tells me to conclude. I ain't gonna lie.
Let's see, my nigga.
so like
Yo, what's up,
repellent.
Ryan?
Can you just like conclude? Because I
I
actually
said concede, my nigga.
Yo, what's up, man?
Wait, actually, wait, hold on, Repellent. You said this right. You said I'm not locked into Penny's full critique to this, PI shit. I don't know what the fuck, Project 9 shit. But I know it isn't the category clarification, which I think is the best response. Wait, be clear. Right, so I don't even know what you mean by the category clarification response. I might have given it subconsciously, but I'm not sure if it's the same thing you're talking about.
You like, well, I mean, you mentioned
You're like India biryani, you're like all my
I
like
don't know. I
body.
be there talking about my mom shit. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Shut
What do you got to
up!
response? Got to
like,
response.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie.
like,
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like everybody's talking. Repellent here. Listen, I'll just
Oh my
clarify my
god.
response. I'll just clarify my response to you, and you can tell me whether or not it is just without telling me that what is the category clarification, because I know that that's gonna give problems to the rec. But listen,
I was
all I
just
said,
like,
That's fine. Good.
I'll just say this
yes.
one thing. You gave something similar to the category clarification response. Like it was brought up in the debate, but it just isn't your main argument. Like it isn't your push, right? So it's not like I'm not going to consider it. It's just like when commenting about your main push, I don't think it's the best thing. I think it's given the best thing, but not as. But Rizzhan gave some sort of a response to it. I don't exactly know what yet because I just maybe
Yo,
they're on.
you are
So,
low key. You are low key. Your background is crazy, bro.
no, that's someone else's background. I'm getting around by that. Oh, damn, that's fixed now. But yeah, so I was just saying that like Rizzhan gave some sort of response to it, like the whole shit about like if the is a
Positive
predication, then it's
predication.
some. Yeah, so like the is a predication leading to some kind of concession. I don't know what the argument for that was, but like I joined the rec later on, so like I'll just watch it. I'll just look at it in the rec.
Yeah,
Bro,
so
shut up,
Penny,
bro.
we can just
Well,
say
let's be
for
clear.
everybody
Let's be clear. Rizzhan or no Repellent, right? So like the entire argument thing was about how like the statement doesn't like literally mean anything now, but like listen. the statement not meaning anything because it's not referring to persons is it seems like at least to me it's just talking about whether or not like when I say a trans woman is a woman, it just like at least to me seems like it presupposes that